Welcome to Biography's channel, and this is the part 2 on the biography of Banglabandhu, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. In 1969, President Ayub Khan convened a roundtable conference with opposition parties to find a way out of the prevailing political impasse. A few days after his release from prison, Mujib flew to Rawalpindi to attend the roundtable conference. Mujib sought to bargain for East Pakistan's autonomy. Mujib was the most powerful opposition leader at the Roundtable Conference. Mujib shook hands with Ayub Khan, whom Khan had previously imprisoned. Talking to British media, Mujib said East Pakistan must get full regional autonomy. It must be self sufficient in all respects. It must get its due share and legitimate share in the central administration. The West Pakistani people support East Pakistani demands. Only the vested interests want to divide the people of East and West Pakistan. When asked about the prospect of East Pakistan ruling West Pakistan if the Awami League gained power, Mujib replied that majority rule is important in a democracy, but the people of East Pakistan had no intention to discriminate against West Pakistan, and that West Pakistani parties would continue to play an important role. Mujib toured West Pakistani cities by train after the roundtable conference. West Pakistani crowds received him with chants of Sheikh Sahib Zindabad. Mujib demanded that Pakistan accept his 6 point plan for federal democracy. He wasn't satisfied by Ayub Khan's pledges. On 5th December 1969, Mujib made a declaration at a public meeting held to observe the death anniversary of his mentor, Suhrawardi, that henceforth East Pakistan would be called Bangladesh. There was a time when all efforts were made to erase the word Bangla from this land and its map. The existence of the word Bangla was found nowhere except in the term Bay of Bengal. I, on behalf of Pakistan, announce today that this land will be called Bangladesh instead of East Pakistan. Mujib's fiery rhetoric ignited Bengali nationalism and pro independence aspirations among the masses, students, professionals, and intellectuals of East Pakistan. Many observers believed that Bengali nationalism was a rejection of Pakistan's founding two nation theory, but Mujib never phrased his rhetoric in these terms. Mujib was able to galvanize support throughout East Pakistan, which was home to the majority of Pakistan's population. He became one of the most powerful political figures in the Indian subcontinent. Bengalis increasingly referred to him as Banglabandhu. In March of 1969, Ayub Khan resigned and Yahya Khan became president. Prior to the scheduled general elections for 1970, one of the most powerful cyclones on record devastated East Pakistan, leaving half a million people dead and millions displaced. President Yahya Khan, who was flying back from China after the cyclone, viewed the devastation from the air. The ruling military junta was slow to respond with relief efforts. Newspapers in East Pakistan accused the federal government of gross neglect, callous inattention, and bitter indifference. Mujib remarked that we have a large army, but it is left to the British Marines to bury our dead. International aid had to pour in due to the slow response of the Pakistani military regime. Bengalis were outraged at what was widely considered to be the weak and ineffective response of the federal government to the disaster. Public opinion and political parties in East Pakistan blamed the ruling military junta for the lack of relief efforts. This dissatisfaction led to divisions between East Pakistanis and West Pakistanis within the civil services, police, and Pakistani armed forces. In general elections held on 7th December 1970, the Awami League won 167 out of 169 seats belonging to East Pakistan in the National Assembly of Pakistan, as well as a landslide in the East Pakistan Provincial Assembly. The Awami League emerged as the single largest party in the Federal Parliament of Pakistan. With 167 seats, it was past the halfway mark in 150 seats in the 300-member National Assembly and had the right to form a government of its own. Sheikh Mujib was widely considered to be the prime minister elect, including by President Yahya Khan. The Pakistan People's Party came in second with 86 seats. The new parliament was scheduled to hold its first sitting in Dhaka, Pakistan's legislative capital, under the 1962 constitution. The political crisis emerged when PPP leader Zulfikar Ali Bhutto declared that his party would boycott parliament if Mujib formed the next government. Bhutto threatened to break the legs of any West Pakistani MP elect who accepted Mujib's mandate. However, Khan Abdul Wali Khan of the Awami National Party from Northwest Frontier Province was open to accepting an Awami League government and travelled to Dhaka to meet with Mujib. Many in Pakistan's establishment were opposed to Mujib's becoming Pakistan's prime minister. At the time, neither Mujib nor the Awami League had explicitly advocated political independence for East Pakistan, but smaller nationalist groups were demanding independence for Bangladesh. Both Bhutto and Yahya Khan travelled to Dhaka for negotiations with the Awami League. Mujib's delegation included the notable lawyer and constitutional expert Kamal Hussain. The Pakistani government was represented by former Chief Justice Alvin Robert Cornelius. At the Intercontinental Hotel of Dhaka, Bengal chefs refused to cook food for Yahya Khan. Governor Sahibzada Yaqub Khan requested the Awami League to end the strike of the chefs at the Intercontinental Hotel. Bhutto feared civil war and sent a secret message to Mujib and his inner circle to arrange a meeting with them. Mubashir Hassan met with Mujib and persuaded him to form a coalition government with Bhutto. They decided that Bhutto would serve as president with Mujib as prime minister. These developments took place secretly and no Pakistan Armed Forces personnel were kept informed. Meanwhile, Bhutto increased the pressure on Yahya Khan to take a stand on dissolving the government. The National Assembly was scheduled to meet in Dhaka on 3rd March 1971. President Yahya Khan indefinitely postponed the Assembly's first sitting, which triggered an uprising in East Pakistan. The cities of Dhaka, Chittagong, Rajshahi, Rangpur, and Khulna were engulfed with protests. Amid signs of an impending crackdown, Mujib addressed the people of East Pakistan on 7th March 1971 at the Ramna Racecourse Maidan. In his speech, Mujib laid out the political history of Pakistan since partition and told the crowd that we gave blood in 1952, we won a mandate in 1954, but we were still not allowed to take up the reins of this country. While Mujib stopped short of declaring outright independence, he stated that the goal of the Awami League from then on would be eventual independence. He declared that the Awami League would collect taxes and form committees in every neighborhood to organize resistance. He called on the people to turn every house into a fortress. His famous words from the speech were the following: "This time the struggle is for our liberation. This time the struggle is for our independence." Following the speech, 17 days of civil disobedience, known as the Non Cooperation Movement, took place across East Pakistan. The Awami League began to collect taxes while all monetary transfers to West Pakistan were suspended. East Pakistan came under the de facto control of the Awami League. On 23rd March 1971, Bangladeshi flags were flown throughout East Pakistan and Pakistan's Republic Day as a show of resistance. The Awami League and the Pakistani military leadership continued negotiations over the transfer of power. However, West Pakistani troops were being flown into the eastern wing through PIA flights, while arms were being unloaded from Pakistan Navy ships in Chittagong harbor. The Pakistani military was preparing for a crackdown. Talks broke down on 25th March 1971. when Yahya Khan left Dhaka, declared martial law, banned the Awami League, and ordered the Pakistan army to arrest Mujib and other Bengali leaders and activists. The Pakistan army launched Operation Searchlight. Mujib sent telegrams to Chittagong, where M.A. Hannan from the Awami League and Major Ziaur Rahman from the East Bengal Regiment announced the Bangladeshi Declaration of Independence on Mujib's behalf. The text of Mujib's telegram sent at midnight on 26th March 1971 stated the following: "This may be my last message. From today, Bangladesh is independent. I call upon the people of Bangladesh, wherever you might be, and with whatever you have, to resist the army of occupation to the last. Your fight must go on until the last soldier of the Pakistan occupation army is expelled from the soil of Bangladesh and final victory is achieved." Shortly after having declared the independence of Bangladesh, Mujib was arrested without charges and flown to prison in West Pakistan after midnight. Mujib was moved to West Pakistan and kept under heavy guard in a jail near Faisalabad. Sheikh Mujib was later moved to Central Jail, Mianwali, where he remained in solitary confinement for the entirety of the war. Kamal Hussein was also arrested and flown to the West Pakistan, while many other League leaders escaped to India. Pakistani General Rahimuddin Khan was appointed to preside over Mujib's court-martial trial, the proceedings of which have never been made public. Mujib was sentenced to death, but his execution was deferred on three occasions. The Pakistan Army's operation in East Pakistan were widely labeled as genocide. The Pakistan Army carried out atrocities against Bengali civilians. With help from Jamaat militias like the Razakars, Al Badr, and Al Shams, the army targeted Bengali intellectuals, professionals, politicians, students, and other ordinary civilians. Many Bengali women suffered rape. Due to the deteriorating situation, large number of Hindus fled across the border to the neighboring Indian states of West Bengal, Assam, and Tripura. Bengali army and police regiments soon revolted, and League leaders formed the Provisional Government of Bangladesh. A major insurgency led by Mukti Bahini arose across East Pakistan. Despite international pressure, the Pakistani government refused to release Mujib and negotiate with him. Mujib's family was kept under house arrest during this period. General Osmani was the key military commanding officer in the Mukti Bahini. Following Indian intervention in December, the Pakistan army surrendered to the allied forces of Bangladesh and India. Upon assuming the presidency after Yahya Khan's resignation, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto responded to international pressure and released Mujib on 8th January 1972. Kamal Hussein was also released. Bhutto and Aziz Ahmad secretly met Mujib and Kamal Hussein in Rawalpindi. Bhutto proposed a last-minute attempt at mediation through the Shah of Iran, who was scheduled to arrive the next day. Mujib declined the offer after consulting with Kamal Hussein. Mujib requested a flight to London. Both Mujib and Hussein were then flown to London. In London, Mujib was welcomed by British officials, and a policeman remarked, "Sir, we have been praying for you." Mujib was lodged at Claridge's Hotel and later met with British Prime Minister Edward Heath at 10 Downing Street. Heath and Mujib discussed Bangladesh's membership of the Commonwealth. Crowds of Bengalis converged on Claridge's Hotel to get a glimpse of Mujib. Mujib held his first press conference in 9 months and addressed the international media at Claridge's Hotel. He made the following remarks at the press conference: "I am free to share the unbounded joy of freedom with my fellow countrymen. We have won our freedom in an epic liberation struggle. Mujib was provided an RAF plane by the British government to take him back to newly independent Bangladesh. He was accompanied on the flight by members of the Provisional Government of Bangladesh as well as an emissary of India's Premier, Indira Gandhi. During the flight, both men agreed that Bangladesh would adopt the Westminster style of parliamentary government. On Indira Gandhi's hopes for Bangladesh, Banerjee told Mujib that on India's eastern flank, she wished to have a friendly power, a prosperous economy, and a secular democracy with a parliamentary system of government. Regarding the presence of Indian troops in Bangladesh, Mujib requested Banerjee to convey to the Indian government that Indian troops should be withdrawn as early as possible. The RAF plane then made a stopover in New Delhi. Mujib was received by Indian President V.V. Giri and Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, as well as the entire Indian cabinet and chiefs of armed forces. Delhi was given a festive look as Mujib and Gandhi addressed a huge crowd where he publicly expressed his gratitude to Gandhi and the Indian public. A few hours in Delhi, the RAF plane flew Mujib to Dhaka in independent Bangladesh. Before the plane landed, it circled the city to view the million people who converged on Tejgaon airport to greet Mujib. In Dhaka, Mujib's homecoming was described as one of the most emotional outbursts in that emotional part of the world. Crowds overwhelmed the airport tarmac and breached the security cordon as cabinet ministers went inside the plane to bring Mujib out. Mujib was given a guard of honor by members of the nascent Bangladesh Army, Bangladesh Navy, and Bangladesh Air Force. Mujib was driven in an open truck through the dense crowds for a speech at the Ramna Racecourse, where 10 months earlier he had announced the liberation movement. Mujib briefly assumed the provisional presidency and later took office as the prime minister. In January 1972, Time magazine reported that in the aftermath of the Pakistani army's rampage last March, a special team of inspectors from the World Bank observed that some cities looked like the morning after a nuclear attack. Since then, the destruction has only been magnified. An estimated 600,000 homes have been destroyed, and nearly 1.5 million farm families have been left without tools or animals to work their lands. Transportation and communication system are totally disrupted. Roads are damaged, bridges out, and inland waterways blocked. The rape of the country continued right up until the Pakistani army surrendered a month ago. In the last days of the war, West Pakistani owned businesses, which included nearly every commercial enterprise in the country, remitted virtually all their funds to the West. The army also destroyed banknotes and coins, so that many areas now suffer from a severe shortage of ready cash. Private cars were picked up off the streets and confiscated from auto dealers and shipped to the West before the ports were closed. The new government of Bangladesh quickly converted East Pakistan's state apparatus into the machinery of an independent Bangladeshi state. The Awami League successfully reorganized the bureaucracy, framed a written constitution, and rehabilitated war victims and survivors. In January 1972, Mujib introduced a parliamentary republic through a presidential decree. The emerging state structure was influenced by Westminster model in which the prime minister was the most powerful leader while the president acted on the government's advice. MPs elected during the 1970 general election became members of the Constituent Assembly of Bangladesh. The Constitution Drafting Committee, led by Dr. Kamal Hussain, produced a draft constitution which was adopted on 4th November 1972 and came into force on 16th December 1972. In comparison to the prolonged constitution making process in Pakistan during the 1950s, the Awami League was credited for swiftly enacting the constitution of Bangladesh within just 1 year of independence. However, the League is criticized for this swift enactment because the Constituent Assembly was largely made up of members from the League itself. The few opposition lawmakers included Manabendra Narayan Larma, who demanded the term Bangladeshi to describe the new country's citizens instead of Bengali, since not all Bangladeshis were Bengalis. Mujib introduced a quota for backward regions to get access to public sector jobs. Bangladesh also faced a gun control problem because many of its guerrilla fighters from the liberation war were roaming the country with guns. Mujib successfully called on former guerrillas to surrender their arms through public ceremonies which affirmed their status as freedom fighters during the liberation war. The President's Relief and Welfare Fund was created to rehabilitate an estimated 10 million displaced Bangladeshis. Mujib established 11,000 new primary schools and nationalized 40,000 primary schools.